Hello and welcome to my school channel. My name is Angela, and in this video we're going to continue tackling the JAMB past question for English language for the year 2024. Please stay with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Myschool channel. Like I said earlier, we're going to be tackling the JAMB past question for English language for the year 2024. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on questions 151 to 175. Remember that questions 144 to 153 comes with a language register passage. So once again, I would advise you to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to my school website where you can access the language register passage, or you can pause the video as soon as the language register passage is displayed on your screen. Please do not forget that the aim of the language register passage is also to read, to understand, and then get back to the questions. Now let's move on to question 151. Fill the gap labeled 13. Option A, books, B, steps, C, maps, and D, aids. So again, we have to look at the sentence in which that word should be used. While at home, the teacher still plans his lesson and prepares his teaching dash, all for the purpose of effective teaching learning process. So the answer to this question is option D, aids. So teaching aids are those materials, those tools, the visual aids that the teacher brings to class to help or to assist in the teaching learning process. So option D, aids, is the best option to fill in that gap. Question 152. Fill the gap labeled 14. A, bettered, B, delivered, C, approached, D, positioned. So the answer to this question is option A, bettered. Again, we have to look at the sentence in which the word should be used. Teachers should not be brushed aside in the society, as teaching is the profession that dash other professions. So the word to fill in that gap is bettered. Bettered means to give rise to something. So it is the best option to fill in that gap. Option A is the answer to this question. Question 153. Fill the gap labeled 15. Option A, attention, B, honor, C, privilege, and D, care. Again, we have to read the sentence to see which word should fill in that gap. Teachers should be given a great dash in the society. The answer to this question is option B, honor. We are looking for a word that explains how teachers should be accorded great respect in society because of the work that they've put into the students, the future generation in the society. So the word that should fill in that gap is honor. It's not attention. You're not talking about giving them more attention in society. You're talking about giving them more respect, the respect they deserve. It can be privilege, because privilege is a respect that someone doesn't actually deserve but they get anyway. But this time around, the teachers deserve the respect because of the profession that they have. So option B, honor, is the best option to fill in that gap. Option B is the answer to this question. Question 154. Choose the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentences. Adiola lives a stone's throw away from the church. Option A, he lives where stones are thrown to the church. B, he lives a long distance from the church. C, he lives not so close to the church. And D, he lives very close to the church. So the answer to this question is option D, he lives very close to the church. So a stone's throw away is a very common idiom that is used to describe how something is very close to another location. So the reason a stone's throw away explains that something is close is because when you throw a stone, it's easy for the stone to land in a particular location. So that means that location is very close to the location of the speaker. So option D, he lives very close to the church, is the answer to this question. Question 155. Again, we have to choose the option that best conveys the information in the sentence. Here it comes. Speak of the devil. Option A, he is scared of seeing the devil. B, is the representation of the devil. C, he is the devil himself. And D, he appears as he is being discussed. So the answer to this question is option D, he appears as he is being discussed. So speak of the devil is a very common idiom as well. So you use that when you're talking about how, when you're having a conversation about somebody, the person you're having a conversation about suddenly appears to that conversation. So that's when you make use of that idiom. It doesn't mean that person is evil or has an evil tendency. It just means that the person is appearing as the person is being discussed. So option D, he appears as he is being discussed, is the answer to this question. Question 156. Again, we have to select the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence given. Moses won the contest hands down. A, he won surprisingly. B, he won very easily, C, he won narrowly, and D, he won with difficulty. So the answer to this question is option B, he won very easily. So when somebody wins something hands down, that means the person won by a great margin. It was very easy for the person to win. So option B, he won very easily, is the answer to this question. Question 157. I decided to back up my friend's argument at the meeting. A, I denied my friend. B, I endorsed my friend. C, I saw my friend. And D, I heard my friend. So the answer to this question is option B, I endorsed my friend. To back up someone's arguments means to support their arguments, to support the arguments that they are fighting for. So something that is closest to meaning to support or back up is endorsed. To endorse someone's argument means to support it, to back it up. So option B, I endorsed my friend, is the answer to this question. Question 158. Choose the option opposite in meaning to the word or phrase underlined. All men in public life should be altruistic. Option A, antagonistic. B, selfish. C, selfless. And D, unkind. So the answer to this question is option B, selfish. So the word altruistic is used to describe somebody who is willing to give to others. So the opposite of that would be selfish, someone who is not willing to give anything, who likes to amass wealth or keep things for him or herself. So the word antagonistic is not the opposite of altruistic. Antagonistic, although has a negative connotation, it means that somebody is not siding with other people. They are against everyone else. So when you are being antagonistic, you are against everyone else. You do not support other people. So selfless is actually the synonym of altruistic. Unkind is not the exact opposite of altruistic. Or unkind means you are not kind. It doesn't have anything to do with being generous or not being generous. So the answer to this question is option B, selfish. Question 159. Again, we have to choose the option opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Everyone thought the politician was invincible. Option A, invisible. B, unconquerable. C, vindictive. And D, surmountable. The answer to this question is option D, surmountable. The word invincible means someone who is undefeated, somebody that cannot be defeated. It is synonymous to unconquerable. So the opposite in meaning of that is surmountable. Someone who is surmountable is someone that can be defeated. So it is the opposite of invincible. The word invisible has nothing to do with being invincible. They are different words. Invisible means you cannot see something. You use it to describe something you cannot see. Vindictive means someone who is out for revenge. It has nothing to do with being invincible. So the answer to this question is option D, surmountable. Question 160. Again, we have to choose the option opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Jamila's austere reaction kept everyone on their toes. Option A, harsh. B, ambitious. C, disgusting. And D, benign. The answer to this question is option D, benign. The word austere means harsh or severe in manner or attitude. So the opposite of that would be someone who is kind, who is caring, who is not as severe. So somebody who is kind or caring is usually benign in their approach. So when you describe a reaction that is benign, it is a reaction that is caring, that is kinder. So option D, benign, is the answer to this question. Do you know you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website, or you can download the Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and the Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Now to question 161. Again, we have to choose the option opposite in meaning to the word or phrase given. My grandpa's stories are usually phony in nature. Option A, factual. B, misleading. C, fake. And D, unreal. The answer to this question is option A, factual. When something is phony in nature, that means it is not genuine, it is fake, it is not real. So the opposite of that is factual. Factual is something that is based on evidence, which means it is real, it is original, it is not fake or ingenuine. So misleading, fake, unreal, they are synonymous to the word phony. So the answer to this question is option A, factual. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 162. Ayo does regular exercise to stretch his mind. Option A, enrich. B, expand. C, restrict. And D, conscript. The answer to this question is option C, restrict. To stretch someone's mind means to expand or broaden one's mental capacity. So the opposite of that would be to restrict someone's mind. That means to limit the extent to which the mind can go. So option C, restricts, is the answer to this question. Question 163. Choose the option that is nearest in meaning to the word or phrase underlined. She is anxious about her son who has been ill. Option A, perturbed. B, sure. C, confident. And D, certain. The answer to this question is option A, perturbed. To be anxious means to be worried or troubled. So in this case, she's worried, she's troubled about the state of her son. So the nearest in meaning to that is perturbed. Perturbed means disturbed or troubled. It is synonymous to anxious. Sure, confident, and certain are opposites of the word anxious. When you are sure, you are confident, or you are certain about a particular situation, it means you are not worried or anxious about it. So the word nearest in meaning to anxious would be option A, perturbed. Question 164. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word. Everyone thinks Ojo's decision to be a demagogue is ill-advised. Option A, pastor. B, teacher. C, manipulator. And D, demographer. The answer to this question is option C, manipulator. So the word demagogue means someone who takes advantage of others by manipulating their fears, their prejudices, or their worries. So the word that is similar in meaning to that is a manipulator. A manipulator is someone who also takes advantage of others by influencing them to do things that they want them to do. So the nearest meaning to the word demagogue is option C, manipulator. Question 165. Most celebrities usually have a tinge of dishonor in their life. Option A, tint. B, tray. C, tract. And D, mold. The answer to this question is option A, tint. So the word tinge means a slight trace or hint of something. So the word that is synonymous to that is the word tint. Tint, although tint is usually used when you're talking about drawing and painting, when you're talking about a light shade of something. So you also use the word tint to refer to a light shade of a particular quality. It doesn't have to be of a particular color. So the word nearest in meaning to tinge is option A, tint. Question 166. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word. What's a grotesque attire? Option A, beautiful. B, splendid. C, horrid. D, fine. The answer to this question is option C, horrid. A grotesque attire is an attire that is ugly or disgusting in appearance. So the nearest in meaning to that will be the word horrid. Horrid also means something that is disgusting or ugly in appearance. So you can see option A, B, and D has words that have positive connotation. It is only option C that has a negative connotation, just like grotesque. So option C, horrid, is the answer to this question. Question 167. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlying phrase. A vulture was hovering over the dead goat. Option A, feeding. B, flying around. C, jumping around. And D, standing on. The answer to this question is option B, flying around. So when you hear the phrase hovering over something, especially when you're talking about a bird of prey like a vulture, it means the bird of prey is flying around a particular spot where there is a prey. So option B, flying around, is synonymous to hovering over. Option B is the answer to this question. Question 168. Choose the option that best completes the sentence. My uncle is not sure dash the strange guest where. Option A, which. B, whom. C, who. And D, what. The answer to this question is option C, who. You make use of who and whom when you are referring to a person, and you make use of which when you are referring to a thing. So the difference between who and whom is that who is used when you are referring to the subject of the sentence, and whom is used when you are referring to the object. So in this case, you are referring to the subject. The strange guest, that's the subject of the conversation, that's what you are talking about. So it is the subject of this particular clause. So who should head that relative clause, who the strange guest were. So option C is the answer to this question. Question 169. If her brother dash here, he would call the police. Option A, have been. B, will be. C, am. And D, where. The answer to this question is option D, where. We make use of where in a conditional statement. So a conditional statement expresses a hypothetical situation, something that would have happened if things went in a different direction. So you make use of where here because in a conditional statement, you make use of the past simple in the first part of the sentence. And for the second verb in the sentence, you make use of the conditional verb, would. So if her brother were here, he would call the police. It's expressing something that would have happened if the brother were there. So option D, where, is the answer to this question. Question 170. When they started the fighting, the man who tried to dash was knocked down. Option A, intrude. B, interpose. C, intervene. And D, obstruct. The answer to this question is option C, intervene. So all this option actually means to get involved in a particular situation. But the difference is that option C, you are getting involved in order to help or to prevent something bad from happening. So it has a positive connotation. Other ones, you are interfering in a particular situation in order to do something negative in that situation. So all three of them have negative connotation. We are looking for a word that has a positive connotation because they are talking about a fight that somebody is trying to prevent. So the man who tried to intervene was knocked down. He tried to prevent the fight, but he was knocked down in the end. So option C, intervene, is the answer to this question. Do you have a question? Please feel free to ask your question by going down to the link in the description below. This takes you to my school website where you can ask your question and a solution will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now to question 171. Again, we have to choose the option that best completes the sentence. Why do children dash adults' conversations? Option A, break up, B, break down, C, break into, D, break off. The answer to this question is option C, to break into. To break into means to interrupt something or enter into something without permission. So you usually use it to refer to when somebody breaks into an apartment, maybe to steal. So you are entering an apartment without permission. You can also use it when you're talking about a conversation. You enter into a conversation without permission. So option C, break into, is the proper phrasal verb to use in this particular context. So option C, break into, is the answer to this question. Do you have a better explanation or solution to any of these questions? If you do, go down to the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solution you'd like to share. Question 172. Again, we have to choose the option that best completes the sentence. Mr. Eze dashed with some solutions to the issue. Option A, come up. Option B, came up. C, flew up. And D, brought up. The answer to this question is option B, came up. So to come up with a particular thing is to think of a solution or devise a solution or a plan. So in this case, we are making use of came up because we are talking of, you have to make use of the past tense in this particular situation and not the present tense, come up. So Mr. Eze came up with some solutions to the issue. So option B, came up, is the appropriate phrasal verb to fill in that gap. Option B is the answer to this question. Question 173. Again, we have to select the option that best completes the gap. Tests reveal that the winning athlete had taken some performance-enhancing dash. Option A, drugs, B, tablets, C, caplets, and D, capsules. The answer to this question is option A, drugs. So performance-enhancing drugs is a common expression. That is the common expression that you use to refer to those things that athletes take in order to improve their performance at a particular sport. So you make use of drugs to fill in that gap. Option A, drugs, is the answer to this question. Question 174. How many eggs were dashed by the hen? Option A, laying. Option B, laid. C, laid. And D, laying. The answer to this question is option C, laid. Laid is the past participle of lay. So you make use of laid in this particular context. But when you are talking about to recline on something, the past participle to use is laying. So, but in this particular context, you are talking about chickens laying eggs. So you use option C, laid. Option C is the answer to this question. Question 175. Are those girls friends of dash? Option A, yours. Option B, yours. C, your. And D, yours. So the answer to this question is option B, yours. Yours without an apostrophe. Again, when you are talking about possession, you make use of the yours without an apostrophe. Are those girls friends of yours? Yours is a possessive pronoun used to refer to something that belongs to the girls, the friends that belong to the girls. So you do not make use of the yours with an apostrophe. So option B, yours, is the answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please don't forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.